What is happening, Internet fam? So, uh, as I was leaving work and on my way to the show tonight, I had a show tonight. Very fun show. Played a really cool place called Siam Palace, which is kind of in between downtown Honolulu and Kalihi. Very cool location. Looked like they had really good food there too. I ate before I went there because I didn't know it was like a food venue, although I should have guessed with a name like Siam Palace. However, I did not, and so I did not eat there, but the food looked really good there. Um, but before I left work and got to the show, I was madly trying to see as much of the Tesla Cybertruck unveil as I could. And if you didn't watch it, or if you did watch it, or whatever, a lot of people online are just hating hard on the Cybertruck. They think it looks ugly. They think the weird thing where they accidentally smashed the windows. They were trying to prove the windows were shatterproof, and they somehow failed. Hopefully Franz isn't in too much trouble. Sorry, Franz. But my takeaway from the Cybertruck unveil was that Elon Musk completely raped Ford. Completely raped Ford. I mean, just they brutalized the Ford F-150 on every level. I don't know how anybody could justify buying a F-150 after watching that truck reveal, because it is absolutely better than the F-150 on every level, in every way. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's so ugly and all this. And, it's not my favorite the way that it looks. But I do get it. Elon Musk is somebody who obviously grew up with Star Trek and Star Wars, and he's clearly a sci-fi nerd, and he obviously he likes that kind of futuristic design. And so for me, I actually think, it's a pretty cool design. I love the fact that it's made out of stainless steel. I think that they could take some of those design elements and then put them out to all the other Teslas, and that would be a huge win. Because you're going to be able to solve a lot of the issues with cost. The stainless steel is probably, given that you're making the body part of the structure and stuff, it's interesting too, because you're kind of going back to the old Dodge unibody style when you do stuff like that. But yeah, I think actually the truck looks pretty cool. Again, I'm a sci-fi nerd, as is Elon, obviously. And I think the truck looks pretty cool. But, who cares really about what it looks like when you're talking about the functionality? It's funny because this is definitely a shot that was taken in my hometown of Inyokern right here. This is a shot from the Inyokern airport. They do a lot of vehicle commercials and stuff out there at the Inyokern airport, and I know those mountains in the background there. That's definitely the Inyokern airport right there. But as far as the design goes, the way it looks, honestly, I'm okay with it. Like 99%. I think it looks pretty good, and it's the reality is though, form ever follows function, and the function of this truck is epic. And the price, the fact that he was able to come in at under 40,000 for this truck is crazy. To me, that's the big news here, is how crazy cheap this truck is for being a cutting edge Tesla that's way ahead of the rest of the market. Obviously, I mean, the specs on this thing demolished anything that Ford has put out in 50 years. I mean, just slaughtered Ford hard. And I mean, he kept saying, oh, you want to talk about built tough, something tough, blah, 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 tough, which, I mean, we all know that the Ford slogan is built tough. And he's just decimating Ford on absolutely every level. And it's fully electric. So it's going to be way, way cheaper to own. So even if you got a similarly priced Ford, you're going to be spending thousands on maintenance, thousands on gas, and this thing's just going to be way cheaper as you own it, because electricity is a lot cheaper than gas. All the other functionality, I mean, it's got a built-in air compressor. It's got built-in 220 and 110 jacks. Having done construction in the past myself, that is huge. No generator, no extra, all that extra jazz you have to do when you're doing construction. It's all built into this truck. So for me, if you're doing construction, this truck is it. There's no competition. This is it if you're doing construction, period. All the other Tesla design cues that are like the things that we've come to expect, the big screen in the front, the the crazy acceleration. I mean, they showed a video of this thing just demolishing a Porsche race car, you know. So when your $39,000 truck is demolishing a top of the line Porsche race car, I'm sorry, like, regardless of what it looks like, people need to be paying attention to this. This is a huge disruptor of the vehicle market, and the fact that you can order one now for $100 down. $100, I don't care how poor you are, $100 down is not this a crazy amount of money. Almost everybody, unless they're, you know, living on the streets, could wrestle up $100, borrow $100, figure out how to sell something, get $100, and make the down payment to order this truck. So I think this truck was a win all across the board. Now, I do want to be critical of a couple of really key things. For one, the ATV, super stupid. Sorry, ATVs are just super stupid. It's clear that Elon doesn't really understand his market or his customer base at all. The ATV is ATVs are super dangerous. I've never been a fan of ATVs. If you roll over on an ATV, it's much more likely you're going to be killed. There's all kinds of problems with ATVs. Just the design itself is a dumb design. I've never been a fan of four-wheelers, three-wheelers. It's stupid. And the interesting thing that he could have done instead was put a couple of fat e-bikes, you know, the fat tire e-bikes up there, something that's in between a bicycle and a dirt bike, but with Tesla electricity and Tesla electric motors and Tesla batteries. That would be something that would catch everybody's attention globally. You know, if you could get a Tesla e-bike for, you know, a few $100s in China, that would completely disrupt the market in China. I mean, in China, here in Hawaii also, almost everybody's riding mopeds everywhere. Imagine replacing those mopeds with Tesla e-bikes. That would be epic, especially if you could, like, you know, have them be, you know, fat bicycles, basically just bicycles, but like with the fatter tires and the like thicker frames and then of course batteries and electric power, and, you know, 0 to 60 and 1.5 or something. I mean, who knows what you could do with that Tesla technology on something like that. And it's absurd that he chose to do an ATV instead. Just dumb. I mean, just a huge epic fail. With the semi reveal and then releasing the Roadster 2, which is like the greatest reveal in all of human history as far as, and you know, I follow technology. I follow this stuff. I have followed it for the last 20 years. Every single time something comes out, I follow it. I'm in IT. It's kind of my job to follow, and I'm an enthusiast, so it's kind of like it's my thing. And the Roadster 2 reveal for me was like one of the greatest reveals ever. Awesome car. Just hardcore smackdown to any kind of previous vehicle that's ever been made. It really is. I mean, the Roadster 2 is amazing. And the fact that he rolled it out of the back of the semi was amazing too. The Tesla Semi is probably the most exciting thing that Elon Musk has ever done. The way that could completely disrupt all the markets, and the cost that they're talking about, all that sort of thing, could be very inexpensive. They're talking about being cheaper than rail. So, I mean, we're talking about disrupting the entire transportation industry with a Tesla Semi. I haven't seen any on the road. I don't know what the production plans are like. I don't know where they're at with that. I don't think it's as exciting for Elon. I don't think it's as sexy for Elon. I think he's got his own motivations that are based on his own perspective and emotion. And a lot of people are critical of him for that. I mean, you know, he's sent out a tweet that cost himself personally like $40 million. You know, people criticize Trump's tweets, but I don't know if Trump has ever done a tweet that cost him personally $40 million. So Elon's kind of like way out there when you talk about that sort of thing. But I you know, so I am a fan of Elon Musk. I'm a fan of Tesla. I'm a fan of the whole thing. But I am so disappointed in the little ATV reveal. I mean, just that to me was just stupid. I mean, if he put out an electric e-bike that was a hardcore smackdown to everybody else in the space, and there's a lot of good stuff in that space right now. You can go on Amazon and order a fat tire electric bike that's pretty awesome for, you know, $800 or something, and super good reviews. People who own them say they're great. I haven't had a chance to play around with that myself yet. I'm actually very excited to do that at some point. I'm just, you know, I've got other priorities. But the fact that he put out that little ATV, and think about this too, with the electric e-bike, you could park 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even kid-size electric e-bikes in the back too, little kid-size electric dirt bikes. I mean, think about, something in between a dirt bike and a bicycle, but electric, with the Tesla power, with the Tesla speed, with all the Tesla electronics and stuff like that. It's just, imagine where that could go. And instead he puts out this ATV that was just like super wah wah for me anyway. I've ridden dirt bikes, I've ridden ATVs, I've ridden bicycles, I've ridden motorcycles, I've ridden mopeds, I've ridden trucks, I've ridden cars, I've ridden every vehicle there is on this planet. I've built almost every kind of car there is, classic cars, modern cars. I've done a lot of car work. And just for me, an ATV is just like, it got to be like the dumbest segment. It's just obviously a toy for people on the weekends, and it's not even the good toy. The good toy would be like some kind of killer dirt bike or something. And I hate dirt bikes because they're noisy and loud, and they smell bad, and they're dangerous. But imagine something in between a bicycle and a dirt bike, like a fat tire beach cruiser, but with Tesla electronics. That would have been epic. And you could have put like 6 of them in the back, and you could put 6 people in that truck. So you could have a family of 6, and there's 6 killer electric, fat bikes / dirt bikes, whatever. It's a new market segment, so we don't really have good terminology for some of that right now. But imagine how much cooler that would have been than the stupid ATV. The ATV was just such a disappointment. Some of the other things that I thought about the truck that I didn't think he really went into enough was the idea that you could have a truck that could carry, that could be like a camper, that could tow some kind of really cool Airstream. You've got this cool stainless steel truck, and then you can have this cool, stainless steel futuristic Airstream behind it. There's a lot of like things that they could have mocked up really quickly for this truck to do that would have just been a lot more compelling, I think, and would have helped their market presence a lot. I don't know. I know that Tesla's not focused on marketing. I know that they specifically don't advertise. I know that, that they're kind of always trying to go their own way and do their own thing, and which huge respect, because they should. The industry, especially the automotive industry, has been super entrenched and just garbage for years. I mean, the American auto industry especially. I don't think the American auto industry has put out a good car since like the mid-'60s. Honestly, the mid-1960s. I know it's 2019. That's crazy. We're talking over 50 years since the American industry is, in my opinion, put out a car that I've been interested or excited about. And so good on Elon for going a different way and kind of going a different way and really kind of being an iconoclast in the automotive industry. Total respect for all that. But I think it's interesting that he is so far out of touch with his base. I mean, I know Tesla owners. I know people who are excited about Tesla. I know people who want a Tesla. I know people who have a Tesla. And there's certain similarities between them. The people who are excited about Tesla, own Tesla, want a Tesla, talk about Tesla. And he's like ignoring all of those to put out this kind of like Joe Dirt, white trash ATV concept that I just thought was so far removed from his base, and he's got a massive base. Anybody who's in IT is a Tesla fan on some level. They can be critical, they can be whatever, they can, a lot of people in IT are smart, and they're like just generally kind of haters of pop culture and popular things, and anything the rest of the herd is doing, they're just like, oh, I hate it. And now the Tesla is so popular and so cool. Some IT people just hate Tesla just for that reason alone, just because they're anti the mainstream or whatever. But putting together some kind of really cool e-bike and putting a bunch of those e-bikes in the back of that truck and having them all charging, and all different sizes, the daddy e-bike, the mama e-bike, the kid e-bike, that would have been a lot better than that stupid SUV or that stupid ATV. I just thought that was so dumb. I had a couple of other thoughts about the truck too that were, but the fact that it's so squarish and stuff, I get if that cuts manufacturing costs and lowers the cost to the consumer, then that makes sense to me as far as like how it's all super angled and angular and like flat and all that kind of stuff. But it seems like that would be a lot less efficient as far as how much electricity it was going to use while it was driving. So on that level, I was a little bit like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's, if it's the best idea for that reason. But I don't know. I thought the truck looked pretty good overall. A lot of people on the internet were super upset and hating on it, but I think the truck itself was great. And honestly, let's talk about the functionality, because the functionality is where it's at with the truck. I mean, if you do construction, if you have any kind of professional capacity for requiring a truck, which even in the IT field, I mean, sometimes we got to take a big load of e-waste or something to the e-recycling place. Oh, the other thing I thought was really stupid was the steering wheel. This little skinny little stupid steering wheel here. What is that? Why would you even pretend? That's so dumb. Obviously, everybody's going to want a round, regular steering wheel. That is another area where I was just like, okay, I get it. You're trying to break the mold and do something new, and that's great, and you should, and 100% agree with you. And honestly, the rest of the truck looks awesome, but that steering wheel is super stupid. And the other thing is, I mean, if it was more rounded, could you go farther on a charge, that kind of thing? The front did look like kind of a big square, flat panel across the front of it. That did not seem to be, especially aerodynamic. Here's another shot from the Inyokurin Airport right here, or Brown Road or somewhere out there. This is where I grew up, so it's kind of sentimental for me. Yeah, I mean, see that flat panel there in the front there. I mean, that's clearly not going to be that aerodynamic. It seems like even if you just rounded that front a little bit, you'd get that much more miles per charge and stuff like that. So, but again, if it's lowering the cost of manufacturing to have it square like that, and that's why he was able to get the truck under $40,000. The price, you could hear the audience when he talked about the price. I mean, the audience just went like, like what? Like everybody was expecting this truck to be $49K, and the fact that he hit $39K is just epic. And just a hardcore smackdown to Ford. I mean, there were so many times when I was watching that presentation live where I thought he just raped Ford, just straight up raped them. But it wasn't just Ford. It's the entire American auto industry, and maybe even the global auto industry. I don't think any of the trucks that any of the other companies are putting out make any kind of sense. And the fact that he's talking about the exoskeleton and how the body panels themselves are part of the structure, that's the kind of design thinking that he could go back and apply to future Model S, future Model X, future Model 3, and maybe lower those prices on all of those cars, and also raise the durability, raise the crash test safety stuff, which they're already off the chart on the crash test safety stuff. That's another thing he didn't really talk about during the reveal. He didn't talk about the crash test for this truck at all, and obviously the crash test data is probably going to be good. I mean, you look at it, it just looks like a really solid chunk of engineering. So my guess is that it's probably going to be very good, but he didn't talk about it, and I thought that was weird too. It's like another area where he just kind of failed as a presenter. I know he got flustered when they broke those two windows. Obviously something went wrong there. Franz, hope you still got a job, buddy. He didn't throw it that hard either. Honestly, he kind of threw that little steel ball like a girl. I was a little bit disappointed by his throw, even before it hit the window. Then it hit the window, buzzed at the window. I just had to kind of laugh. I was like, oh, wow. Him throwing like a girl, and it still didn't do anything to the window. I mean, it shattered the window, but it didn't, it was just funny because it wasn't that hard of a throw. The sledgehammer to the door, though, was very impressive. I would have liked to have seen him do more sledgehammer to the door, harder. Again, I don't think Franz was really I would have expected a lot bigger, beefier guy to really lay into the panel and try to put a dent in it, and maybe even succeed. Because if a guy like that would just destroy an F-150 door and then just put a little tiny dent in the Cybertruck door, that would still be very telling. In fact, that would be more telling than Franz's little sissy little bink, bink with little sledgehammer. Elon, get a big dude to hit the door like he means it. I'm about the same size as Franz. I'm not this huge dude, and I would have put a way more devastating hit with that sledgehammer. I don't even do, I do IT. I don't work out. I don't do anything like that anymore. And I still would have just absolutely hit that truck harder than Franz did. And I would have put a way huger dent in the F-150 door as well. So I don't know if Franz didn't get practice what. And then he threw that little steel ball like almost like sorry, I know it's sexist to say threw like a girl, but you know what I mean. Kind of like the little, throw, and then it shattered the windows. It was pretty funny, but hey, these things happen. It was a live demonstration, and I'm not going to be too hard on him for that. Elon's probably still super fuming over that. The fact that he's using the same steel for the truck and also the spaceship is just crazy. That's exciting on its own. I can't wait to see where he's going to go next. And Elon, please make a fat e-bike, something in between a beach cruiser and a dirt bike that's a Tesla, with the Tesla specs, the crazy acceleration, the crazy distance, all that stuff. Because right now, mopeds and motorcycles are, by and large, garbage. I know there's the Zero out there, and the Zero's cool, but the Zero's super expensive. And it's clear that market is ripe for disruption way more even than the automotive industry, which you've already disrupted. So it's on to the next thing. And the ATV is so dumb. ATVs are so dumb, and they're so dangerous. So dangerous and dumb. I don't know why he did the ATV. I was very disappointed by that. Oh, and what's up with boats or submarines or airplanes or airships? Come on, Elon, give me an airship. Or call me. Let me start building airships for you. I'm all in. Anyway, that's my thought on the Tesla Cybertruck. There was a lot of haters on YouTube already. I watched like 7 or 8 videos of people just hating on the truck. I honestly thought it was awesome. Super awesome. Not as awesome as the Roadster 2, which is like one of the best technology reveals I've ever seen. Even though Elon's obviously somewhere on the spectrum a little bit, stutters a little bit, has a little bit of difficulty delivering with the English language and stuff like that. No disrespect, Elon, huge fan here, even though, you were at that dinner with Jeffrey Epstein. It's kind of questionable. Yeah, it's all that. But anyway, still an Elon fan, still a Tesla fan. Still want to see, what happens with Solar City. I owned a bunch of Solar City stock. Not that it matters. I would have lost it in divorce anyway. But I did own a bunch of Solar City stock, and it just disappeared. So I don't actually know what happened to my Solar City stock. I don't know where Solar City's at. I haven't seen any Solar City installations in my town. I'm a little bit disappointed how Solar City's going. And honestly, who cares about solar anyway when we have liquid fluoride thorium reactors? Elon, let's do some lifters, let's do some airships, let's do some e-bikes. There's stuff you're not doing that's like we need so badly, so badly. Let's do some super cool open source cell phones that talk peer-to-peer and share internet with everybody in the area. oh, that's going to be a competitor to your Starlink thing, which I'm not a fan of. Not a fan of Starlink at all. That's like the worst thing that Elon Musk has done ever, in my opinion. 5G radiation, super bad for living things. Obviously, that's like proven. And, paying a centralized ISP is garbage. We should have a decentralized peer-to-peer, open, free internet where you get paid for passing people's traffic, some kind of micro payments of cryptocurrency or something. A decentralized distributed cryptocurrency, not one that's owned by Goldman Sachs or Facebook or the United States government, or that has any KYC at all. It should be totally anonymous, private. Anyway, you guys know my projects. If you don't, go check them out. Supermox.me, openairships.com, coinkitty.io. That's totally under construction. Not even under construction. It's just a concept right now, so forget about that one. But anyway, Elon, call me, man. Let me come work for you, man. You got so much that you're just like almost getting, and you're just not there. And the ATV was just a huge fail. Huge fail. The biggest fail I've seen you do outside of the ethical concerns that I have with Starlink and the fact that Starlink is just completely the wrong way to go for internet delivery. As an IT guy, I can just say that carte blanche without any kind of hesitation. Just a really, really dumb way to go. Especially when we have ultra wideband, which I know the FCC made illegal, but you know what? That's unconstitutional. So we can repeal that. Anyway, that's it for me, Internet fam. Cybertruck, huge fan, all into it. If I was doing construction still, I would have already put my $100 in there for sure. As it is, I'm almost always on foot. I live in a huge urban environment, and it's not even. I have a car that I never even drive, so that's where I'm at right now. So, yeah. So to the rest of you haters on the internet, you know what? You don't like how it looks, whatever. This is a huge disruption to the whole industry. It's faster than a Porsche. It's better than the F-150 on every level, obviously. It's better than a GMC. It's better than Chevy. It's better than anything that the American auto industry has put out in 50, 60 years. So, STFU already. All right. Have a good night.